know, it's one of those sad days where,
Yeah.
you know, unfortunately, Gene Wilder has died of Alzheimer's. And so, you know, it's one of those things when a comedian, though, dies and you want to think about his career, and it's all full of laughter and fun. So I'm
Yeah.
sure, though, that he would want to be remembered in that way. So, you know, we kind of want to talk about some of the movies that he was in. Obviously, the one that always comes to mind,
Yeah.
first and foremost.
Blazing Saddles. No,
Ah.
Willy Wonka. Charlie and the
Wonka,
Chocolate Factory.
exactly.
I like Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Gene Wilder movies. Probably not something we can talk about on the KGUN-9 Facebook page
Maybe not.
in great detail, but let's talk about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because a lot of people love that. I think that's his.
Or
which
Willy
is
Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
And the Charlie
Charlie
and the Chocolate Factory was a different actor, I believe. And then wasn't Willy Wonka?
We know what we're talking about.
I don't know. You know what?
Someone's
I think
gonna
that's what it
correct
is.
us here pretty soon.
But I remember it
Yeah.
growing up, and I just absolutely loved the end, the way he just became like a real. He became a real person. Before he was just this character in this chocolate factory, this owner, and one of my favorite movies of all time. So obviously,
He really owned that role, and he did it so well. He was almost uncomfortably eccentric.
yes,
You're watching that, and he's, you know, Gene Wilder, he becomes Willy Wonka. And I think he set the tone for the role that Johnny Depp would play when they remade it a couple of years ago.
and that was really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about
Uncomfortably
uncomfortable, yeah.
eccentric. Good movie, though. But, you know, I think with Gene Wilder, he was one of those, he wasn't a comedian who was just trying to be funny. I think one of the things that he said was, you know, he always wanted to keep things simple of who he was and the way he portrayed himself and his characters. And he wasn't trying to be funny, he was just trying to be real. So he wasn't looking to be a comedian. And I think that kind of came through in his movies. But what was another movie that he was in?
Well, we mentioned Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
One was here
there
in
was,
Tucson, filmed here in Tucson.
Blazing Saddles. I'm just going to pull them up on IMDb.
Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
That is a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So what are your favorite movies or of Gene Wilder? And can you see the comments?
I'm squinting. The Producers. That was a fine one.
Oh, yeah.
Brian says Gene Wilder was one of the greatest. Connie says, loved so many of his movies, but I think See No Evil, Hear No Evil was great. Linda says R.I.P., rest in peace. A lot of people remembering Gene Wilder in his roles today. Here's Mel Brooks, who directed Blazing Saddles. Gene Wilder, one of the truly great talents of our time. He blessed every film we did with his magic, and he blessed me with his friendship. Here is Steve Martin. Goodbye, Gene Wilder. You were one of the great screen comedians, original and surprising every time. So a lot of people, and he spanned generations too.
Right.
You know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and those Mel Brooks movies were made decades ago, but kids still watch them today. And I think a lot of young people today still associate Gene Wilder with Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he stands the test of time. I think these classics are some of the creepy scenes. I don't know about you, but the Oompa Loompas,
Oh gosh,
they were kind of creepy back then when I was growing up.
they're still creepy.
I mean,
They're still creepy. We're
Right,
forgetting
very
Young
cute now.
Frankenstein too.
oh, yes.
That's the one we were
Yeah,
trying
that
to think of
was-
in the
yes,
newsroom
yes, yes.
earlier.
Yeah,
He owned that one.
yeah, he did.
Oh, I still love watching. I remember my dad insisted I sit down and watch that movie with him one day, and he explained this is Gene Wilder. He's more than just that candy guy in that movie that creeps me out. Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. We mentioned Stir Crazy, Silver Streak, 1976. The Producers.
I was going to say, does anybody know of some movie that is not, maybe one of his early films that we're not mentioning?
I'm pulling
Let's
it
see.
up here.
I'm sorry, I have to look. I can't see.
Yeah, it's,
it's really tiny print. And let's see.
Haunted Honeymoon, Blazing Saddles. again.
Haunted Honeymoon?
That's what
I've
I've
never heard of that
never
one.
Heard of this one. Actually, all of his films. Too
Yeah.
funny says Harriet. Angie says all of them.
So
Benjamin
who
says
has
Blazing
seen,
Saddles.
people are saying like all of them.
Yeah.
So have some of you out there actually seen all of his movies. I don't know
I know
how
I
many
have
are
not.
there. Does anybody know how many there are?
Let's pull up his. I'm Googling as we're talking here. Gene Wilder on IMDb.
Yeah.
Okay, here
Let's
we
see
go.
if anybody knows.
He was
Okay.
born in 33, died today at the age of 83. We got Young Frankenstein, Willy Wonka, Blazing Saddles, the producer in 1967. Yo Gabba Gabba, he played a small role in there last year even. He played a recurring character on the TV show Will and Grace from NBC from the early 2000s.
Wow, I used to watch that show. I never saw that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has a complete list, though.
No.
Okay.
Well, you know.
Interesting.
All right.
Gene Wilder. He also, it's worth talking at least briefly about Alzheimer's and the effect that that disease has on so many people, especially here in the Tucson area. It's worth, you know, you don't want to exploit someone's death, but it's an opportunity, I think, to talk about
Have another
Alzheimer's
conversation about
and
it.
have another conversation about it and talk about some of the research that's going on with that disease that affects more people than I think a lot of people realize.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to reminisce, and we
Uh-huh.
enjoyed reminiscing with you and hearing about your opinions about Gene Wilder and the many, many movies, apparently some that I have never even heard of.
Haunted Honeymoon
But,
getting a lot of
Yeah,
conversations in the
I'll
comments.
have to watch that. Maybe it's on Netflix.
I'm sure it is.
We'll have to look that one
All
up.
the best
but,
stuff's on Netflix these days.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us and going back in time a little bit with us.